Can you really pull from just one single symbol?
Right.
Our mission today is to look at a piece of linguistic design that I think just perfectly encodes this profound human experience, the act of tasting, of judging, and really savoring something.
And arguing that the language itself gives you a kind of visual philosophy on quality.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a spectacular example of, transparency in design. We're looking at the Chinese character, pronounced Iapan, and what's so fascinating here is that unlike a lot of characters that need some deep historical knowledge to sort of decrypt,
Right.
Iapan just lays it all out for you right away.
It's an immediate aha moment.
It is, yeah, because
Insane.
the character is constructed from pure repetition.
When you first see it, the structure is so striking. It looks, I don't know, perfectly balanced, almost like a corporate logo. 3 identical components stacked up, 2 on the bottom, 1 right on top. It's visually compelling, but for someone new to this, the question is always, what are those building blocks?
And why 3 of them?
Right. Why 3?
Exactly. We're moving beyond just, recognizing a symbol and into understanding its DNA.
Yeah.
And the core sources all confirm that the visual component that's repeated 3 times to build one is the simple foundational character.
And pronounced genk. That's maybe one of the most essential building blocks in the entire language, right? It represents the human mouth.
Precisely. Keng means mouth. It's the essential aperture for speech and critically for our discussion for consumption.
So the math is simple. 3 mouths equals wrong.
It is. We often hear this called linguistic Lego because you're using a simple, tangible brick, the mouth, and you repeat it to build a much more complex, abstract idea.
I love that Lego analogy. It's perfect. If Kank is the brick, we're not just stacking them to make a wall. We're using 3 to construct a specialized sculpture, one that represents a sophisticated action.
Yes.
And this is where we need to elevate the analysis, because for anyone listening, just saying 3 mouths mean taste is, it's a bit too simple.
It is.
We need to get into the technicals. What kind of compound character is this?
This character is a textbook example of what's called a hui character, an associative compound.
An associative compound.
Which means the meaning of the bigger character is derived not by sound, but by combining the meanings of its parts.
So you're literally just adding up the ideas.
You're combining the concept of mouth 3 times to generate this new concept, to evaluate, to savor, or to appraise. It's not arbitrary at all. It's a deliberate multiplication of meaning.
So it's not a pictogram, it's more like a semantic equation.
That's a great way to put it.
And that raises a really important question, something I found challenging in the sources.
Yeah.
If the language is designed for, maximum efficiency, why use 3 mouths for taste? If the goal was just simple consumption, 1 mouth would do it. If I want to say, I eat, the verb is chi.
Right, which has an eating radical.
Or I drink, it's hey hi. Neither of those needs a triplicate structure, so why here?
And this is where the philosophical brilliance of the design comes in. If you look at chi, to eat, or hai, to drink, those are about the mechanical act of ingestion. They describe what's necessary for survival. But peen immediately moves the conversation away from necessity.
And towards intentionality.
Towards intentionality, exactly. The sources make a clear distinction. 1 mouth is enough to swallow, to ingest.
It's the 3 mouths.
3 mouths, visually and metaphorically, are required to evaluate, to compare, and to truly savor.
So the repetition isn't about quantity, it's a quantifier of quality.
Yes.
It suggests that savoring requires multiple observations, maybe multiple tastes, or even a community of perspectives to really assess something.
Absolutely. The repetition itself is signaling that this is a deliberate, elevated activity, not an unconscious one.
Think about the cultural emphasis encoded right there.
Well, yeah. If I say I ate you my dinner, that's just simple data transfer.
The tool is in.
Right. But if I say I pinned the meal, I am implying a much slower engagement. I'm suggesting I assessed the seasonings, the texture, the rich flavors, what the sources call fengfu de zue.
It elevates the experience beyond just the mundane.
It's making the mundane sacred just through one character and making it visually obvious why.
Okay, so let's transition to how this character actually shows up in daily use. The sources really emphasize that this is not some obscure symbol.
Not at all.
It's a character you can use every single day. and it defines these different levels of appreciation.
That's right. And the uses really demonstrate the full spectrum of evaluation that those three mouths imply. We find it in various compounds, and each one adds another layer of sophistication.
Let's start with the most abstract one, the one that goes beyond food completely.
That will be shoroblang. So the way component means flavor or taste. But when you combine it with polendo, it becomes much broader. It means savoring, yes, but it often extends to imply style, quality, or a kind of refined appreciation.
So like having good taste.
Exactly. If you describe someone's clothes or their choice in art as having manaway, you're saying they have taste, not in a literal food sense, but in a sophisticated, discerning way. The three mouths are judging quality in the abstract world.
Wow. That's a massive leap. From physical mouths to evaluating abstract aesthetics.
It shows how profoundly the concept of evaluation is baked into the character.
So let's bring it back to the physical act of eating. How does polendo define that intentional engagement?
That brings us to Brid Sinchang. This one refers specifically to sampling or tasting.
Okay.
The direct, deliberate, physical act of putting something in your mouth to evaluate it. Think of a chef testing a sauce or a sommelier with wine.
You're not just drinking it.
No, you're not just drinking it. You're rolling it around, focusing on the layers, the texture. The chang part means to try or to attempt. So planchang is the specific, active attempt at evaluation with your mouth.
And this is where the speed of the action changes completely. You can chi quickly, but you have to chang slowly.
The speed itself is an act of respect for the thing being consumed.
Respect. I like that.
Absolutely. And that respect is perhaps nowhere clearer than in the culturally specific application that the sources highlight. Tea. Tea.
Ah, yes. Planch. Tasting or sipping tea.
Mm.
The fact that there's a specialized verb for this is, well, it's critical, isn't it?
It is. In Chinese culture, tea isn't just a beverage. It's a social ritual. It's a medicinal aid. It's an art form.
Right.
So the term plancha implies a deep, almost ritualistic engagement. If you're just drinking tea for hydration, you use the standard verb cha. But when you punshir,
Participating in a process.
you're participating. You're appreciating the aroma. You're noting the color of the liquid, the tanand yanse. And most importantly, you're evaluating the layered taste over time.
I remember a detail from the sources about the traditional tea ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about the cup in your hand. The ceremony itself often uses these specific small tasting cups designed to force you to take 3 sips, or at least 3 distinct engagements with it.
That's a perfect example of linguistic philosophy showing up in physical ritual.
It echoes the character.
The 3 mouths of the character are mirrored in the cultural expectation of 3 assessments. You analyze the initial impression, the mid-palate complexity, and the lingering finish, the aftertaste.
You need those multiple distinct engagements to get a full appreciation.
You do.
Comparing this again to the simplicity of qi, it really underscores the insight here. One single character tells you instantly that this activity tasting tea, evaluating a spice, judging art, it demands multifaceted attention.
And this brings us back to that aha moment. The genius of the 3 mouths is that they introduce the concept of comparison itself.
Comparison.
Why 3? Because 2 points establish a line, a simple dichotomy, like good, bad.
Okay.
But 3 points allow for genuine comparison, for evaluation, for perspective. The 3 mouths are, metaphorically, the mouth that tastes, the mouth that remembers a standard, and the mouth that compares the 2.
That is profound. It's not just a physical repetition. It's a cognitive process embedded right in the structure.
It is.
It's saying that taste, true taste, is inherently a comparative activity. We don't taste things in a vacuum.
Never. We taste against memory, against expectation, against potential.
Think about the history of spices or seasonings. When an ancient cook or a merchant assessed a new seasoning, they weren't just swallowing it.
No, it was a critical evaluation. Its richness, its complexity, its potential value, that demanded time and multiple trials. The 3 mouths honor that deliberate, critical engagement.
And this complexity is exactly what makes the character so easy to remember, and as the source material points out, very fun yuk.
The fun comes from that immediate transparency of the concept. The moment you realize the simple visual structure isn't just arbitrary stacking.
It's a roadmap for a complex philosophical idea.
And for someone learning the language, this is incredibly powerful. It teaches you a pattern. It teaches you that replication in this context means intensity, evaluation, depth.
It's a linguistic device.
Yeah.
A semantic multiplier.
It shifts the meaning from simple action to comprehensive assessment.
So, if the mouth, yuk, is the core unit of consumption, then the triplicate structure of Kel is the cultural elevation of that unit into the realm of quality control.
And aesthetic appreciation.
It teaches us that quality requires multiple points of entry, observation, and appreciation.
And that idea that quality demands repetition and attention that transcends language. I mean, look at the process of becoming an expert in any field.
Wine, coding, music.
Anything. It requires repeated, deliberate engagement. You don't master something with one attempt. You need 3 or 30 or 300 deliberate engagements. The palm character is a constant visual reminder that intentional savoring is the key to true understanding.
It's just astonishing that something so fundamental as evaluation is built right into the visual language. It gives the language a physical depth that, just doesn't exist when we use an abstract verb in English like to savor.
It creates a mandate for slowness. In our fast-paced, consumption-driven world, the character forces us to stop, to engage, and to use those 3 metaphorical mouths.
The mouth of the presence.
The mouth of memory and the mouth of judgment, to fully appreciate what we encounter.
So what we've learned today, just through the lens of one character built from those 3 simple mouths, is that true taste isn't just consumption.
It is complex savoring. It demands comparison, evaluation, and time.
And that leads us to the final thought we want to leave you with.
If a language uses 3 visual units to define the act of savoring complex flavor, what does that tell us about the cultural importance placed on how we engage with the sensory world versus just what we consume?
A great question.
Challenge yourself to consider what other simple, repeated visual structures in language might conceal equally rich, profound meaning about fundamental human experiences. The building blocks are always there. Sometimes you just need to count the mouths 3 times to unlock the true meaning of quality.